So you came across hyperbaric oxygen as a solution or a potential solution for a health issue that you're dealing with or for health goals that you're setting for yourself. And you're wondering, how many sessions do I need and what pressure do I need to get to those benefits? That's what we're going to cover in today's video. And so in this video, we're going to talk about some of the uses of hyperbaric oxygen and what type of protocol somebody might want to follow in order to achieve or reach some of the different benefits that people are looking for with regard to hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This is actually video number 3 in a series that we've been working on in Hyperbarics 101. What is hyperbaric? How does it work? What type of benefits might be expected? And then what type of protocols and programming would be necessary to achieve those benefits? In video number 1, we took a deep dive into the science of hyperbaric oxygen to better understand exactly what it is and how it works. And then in video number 2, we discussed the benefits of hyperbaric and the mechanisms of action. How does raising oxygen tension inside the body lead to a series of mechanisms of action that ultimately helps us extract the benefits that we're looking for? And in today's video, we're going to be talking about different use cases and what protocols you might want to follow in order to achieve that. I'm Dr. Jason Saunders, founder of HBOT USA. I've been involved in the hyperbaric industry for 20 years, teaching, treating, researching, and providing education to help improve the access and the awareness of this powerful and unique therapy. Now, if you missed those first 2 videos, they really laid an important foundation of understanding to help make this video make more sense. So if you missed those first 2 videos, please check the description below. We'll leave a link to them. Watch those first and then come back. And so now that you have an understanding of the mechanisms of action and the benefits that we can extract from hyperbaric oxygen, what I want you to understand is some of these are short-term benefits while others are long-term benefits. Again, we spoke last time, some of them are coming from the loading phase, some of them are coming from the unloading phase. And depending on which benefit we're looking for or what goal somebody has from a health standpoint, determines how many times we need to increase and decrease the oxygen, or over what period of time do we need to increase and decrease the oxygen, or at what pressures will we elicit some of those changes. So let's go over some of the short-term benefits. When I say short-term, I don't mean you do a single session, 1 hour on a random day and you're done. None of the benefits of hyperbaric work that way. Inside some of the short-term benefits, there is value in each and every one of the sessions, don't get me wrong, but not any one session is going to be the answer for you. So even inside the short-term benefits, 5 sessions, 10 sessions, 15 to 20 sessions over 3 to 4 weeks is likely going to be necessary. Which benefits do we consider to be more the short-term? Well, the hyperoxygenation, some of the cellular energy, some of the immune system activation, and even some of the swelling and edema changes all could be extracted with somewhere between 5 and 15 sessions most of the time. Each session includes an exposure to pressure, which will help drive down swelling and edema. Each session will increase oxygen going to the mitochondria, leading to increased cellular energy. Each session will fuel your immune system with the ingredients that your white blood cells use to help fight infection. So every session is going to provide you with some amount of those short-term benefits. However, as you can imagine, you might have to raise cellular energy for a period of time to get the benefit that you want. You may have to control swelling and edema for a period of time to get the end result you're really looking for. You may need to activate the immune system for a period of time to really move through some type of infection that your body is dealing with. So again, even inside those short-term benefits, we're looking at somewhere between 5 to 15 or 5 to 20 sessions over a 3 and 4 week period. For most people looking at hyperbaric, it's really the long-term benefits that people are looking for. Lowering inflammation over a long period of time, fighting a chronic infection for some extended period of time, managing an autoimmune disease that you've been either recently diagnosed with or dealing with for 5 to 10 years or more, healing, repairing, or regenerating cells and tissues that have been damaged either chronically or acutely, but significantly, and the body isn't healing as quickly as we would want on its own. In those cases, we're relying on growth factors, new blood vessel growth, stem cell mobilization, cellular repair, tissue repair. That's going to take weeks and months, not hours and days. And so in most of those cases, we're looking at no less than 20 hours, often 40 to 60 hours, and in some cases more. And we would do those sessions multiple times a week for 2 to 4 months, or even sometimes longer. And whether we're looking for short-term benefits or long-term benefits, this also is not once a month for a year, or twice a month for 3 months or 6 months. This is typically no less than 3 times a week for 3 or 4 weeks, or 4 to 6 times a week for 8 to 10 weeks. Even in the short-term category, let alone certainly in the long-term category. Again, it's not that each individual session is so important, it's the cumulative impact of these sessions over weeks and months. We're raising the oxygen levels in our body, we're stimulating certain pathways, and we have to repetitively stimulate those pathways for weeks and months to really gain massive cellular changes, serious immune system modulation, or meaningful tissue repair and regeneration. So we need to first understand, are we looking for those short-term or long-term benefits? Then inside of either one, we need to understand the number of sessions and the time frame that we need them, and that they're cumulative over weeks and months, not hours and days. And then lastly, we need to think about which pressures are required to achieve the benefits that we're looking for. In some cases, certain pathways respond to lower pressure more effectively, while others respond to higher pressure more effectively. This topic is way more nuanced, and it's likely that working with somebody who's done this research and has treated lots of patients, or certainly providers that have taken our training courses and know this information inside out and backwards, could be really helpful to make sure that you're using hyperbaric in the most effective way for you. While it appears that almost any pressure will reduce systemic inflammation, we can be more targeted. There are certain inflammatory markers that respond better to lower pressure, certain inflammatory markers that actually respond better to higher pressure. Knowing which ones and doing the right tests will certainly help guide you accordingly. Sometimes the severity of a case will help dictate. In other words, while we might get to the same place using lower pressure or higher pressure, time is of the essence, and we're trying to get somewhere in a shorter period of time, in which case, often, but not always, higher pressure could get us to that place in a faster period of time, especially when it comes to significant tissue damage and tissue repair. In other cases, it's about patient tolerance. Maybe there's an infection that higher pressure would be better for, but the patient's not tolerating higher pressures well, in which case we have to utilize lower pressures over a longer period of time. So patient tolerance also is going to play a role in the decision-making matrix as we're trying to figure out the proper protocol for anyone to follow. Even inside this patient tolerance conversation is a conversation around oxidation, cellular oxidation. Most, if not maybe all, chronic illnesses that people are suffering from today, from autoimmunity through cancer and heart disease, neurodegenerative disease, are being blamed on excessive oxidative stress, and hyperbaric creates oxidation. So someone might even say, be careful, hyperbaric is dangerous, it's oxidative stress, and you can't handle it. But again, promoting proper protocol should be the answer, not whether or not the therapy is right or wrong for somebody, it's how are we applying it. If you paid attention in the first 2 videos in this series, I actually mentioned that hyperbaric reduces oxidative stress and increases the body's quantity of antioxidants. And if we build a thoughtful protocol, we can actually create a program that doesn't create excessive oxidative stress and, in fact, helps patients become more resilient to oxidative stress, both the oxidative stress of the treatment, but also the oxidative stress of our environment. And so not only is this not unsafe for someone to do, it's actually incredibly safe and will build resilience systemically so that patients are far more resilient to all the sources of oxidative stress in their body. But in order to do that, we can't just take somebody and put them at the highest pressure possible for long periods of time. We have to slowly expose them to lower pressures and build that up so that they can become more resilient throughout the protocol, as opposed to breaking them down and overexposing them right out of the gate. Again, this is an HBOT 101 series. I'm really trying not to go too deep into all the details. We've done extensive videos on protocol framework. We've done extensive videos on a variety of specific indications of hyperbaric and which protocols to follow. We've done detailed videos on oxidative stress, on using hyperbaric from a hormesis standpoint, stimulating certain stressors and backing off to help build that cellular resilience that I was talking about. So this isn't meant to answer all of those questions. It's meant as an overview. But if any one of those topics are sticking out in your mind, please cruise through our channel. I'm sure that we have a video that answers the exact question that's on your mind right now. Hopefully this intro series has been helpful for you. Again, if you haven't watched the first 2, please go back and do so. If you have anybody in your life that's curious about hyperbaric oxygen, please feel free to share these videos. They're here to help educate anybody interested in learning more about hyperbaric oxygen. As always, I appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next video. If you're a practitioner or you're looking to get into hyperbarics and you're wanting to learn more and making sure that you're offering this therapy as effectively and as safely as possible, I want you to know that we offer a series of courses, some of which are online and some of which are in person. We have a few in-person courses coming up over the next few months, and registration is closing soon, so head over to hbotusa.com/events and secure your spot today.